running a bit at, you heard? Get your money up, not your funny up.
My boy.
The bird.
There's Phoebe.
Oh, is she?
Oh!
Phoebe says, "This is my chance." Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Get out of my room. Oh, there it is on the bookshelf. Straight ahead.
Oh, shit. Which direction should I force it? You think towards that door?
Yeah, towards that door.
Come on, bird. Fuck.
5. Oh, he's so close. You're so close. Jesus. Oh, there you go. Oh, dude, you're... All right. Oh, he's so close. Come on, dude. Other way. Other way. There he goes. Shut it.
Come on, Frankie. Let's go to bed.
No. You said we were going to stay up late. You said we were going to
I
hang out.
never said that, dude. Come on.
Dude, let's hang out. Let's go nuts. It's nighttime, dude. We can do whatever
Dude,
we
it's
want.
so late, dude. We both got to get up early.
So? Dude, what are you going to do in there? Sleep? Boring. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Welcome back into the Door Report, episode 269 on a pretty lovely Tuesday evening, April 30th, 2024. I am Will Byrum, joined as always by my co-host, Trevor Hulan, a.k.a. Hack Squat Jim Duggan.
I screwed up the camera. I'm going to adjust that real quick while you do your thing.
Something's popping up on the screen there, too. This is a tough start. We're recording right now. It is after 10 p.m., because we needed to finish watching the Vanderbilt Tennessee Tech baseball midweek game that literally just ended in the 11th inning.
I'm so sleepy.
Hashtag wings up. But Vanderbilt did win.
Yeah.
So either way I was going to win. On one side, if Tennessee Tech won the game, wings up, proud alum, also would ruin Vanderbilt's season. On the other side, if Vanderbilt wins, the season's not ruined completely.
That is
So
true. But it is a good night to be me. Vanderbilt gets the dub, and my Lipscomb Bison take down the Vols. Horns up, baby. Anchor down, horns up.
Early, I need to point this out because otherwise I was going to forget. On Twitter, I don't think many people in the Vol fan base, after you commented, realize you weren't just purely hating.
No.
That you're in grad school at Lipscomb.
I am a student at Lipscomb University.
They're like, you need to worry about your own team, and you're like, this is my
team.
This is actually my team.
This is my school.
You make fun of us for being sidewalk fans. This is actually the school you're not a sidewalk.
I'm
fan
not a
of.
side.
You're actually paying tuition.
I'm a proud student of Lipscomb University. Horns up. Suck it, Vols. Go Bison, baby.
I'm just proud you didn't say the University of Lipscomb.
Oh, no.
You want to talk about... We're going to get off track because we don't have a ton to talk about outside of baseball. So the rest of this entire summer is just going to be us getting off track.
Yeah.
I know this is a common opinion. Probably my biggest pet peeve in the world, whether it's an athlete in high school receiving an offer or even someone committing, or even how Ray Davis, I believe, did it.
Yeah.
As a transfer, the University of Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
One quick Google search. One Google search to the team that offered you were committing to, or you were transferring to.
Exactly.
It is Vanderbilt University, not the University of Vanderbilt.
And how do you not know that when that's the school that you have been in constant communication with? You know, you just probably went to their camp. You've been talking to their coaches so much. You're going to go to school there. How do you not know the school's name?
But as somebody that went to like Tennessee Tech, I would never say the University of Tennessee Tech.
Exactly.
That's just ridiculous to me that you would even say, I don't know. That's a tangent for another day when we're really in dead time of the summer. But on episode 269, before I forget, we are presented by 615 Collectibles. If you're into sports cards or sports memorabilia, check out 615 Collectibles on eBay. A brand new batch of 2021 Panini Select football die-cut prisms have just been listed on eBay, so just give a quick search, 615 Collectibles, and check out the store on eBay. Shipping is always fast and free. Trevor, a disappointing weekend. Again, what is going on with StreamYard? What is going on here? But this weekend, a disappointing week of baseball. Probably the audio is going to be fine, but the video is going to look like chaos here at the beginning. But a disappointing weekend of baseball. We will get into that. Some news on the basketball front, not directly related to the basketball program, but some news about a baseball tailgate and Mark Byington,
the GOAT,
has just popped up on the Twitter timeline.
Mark
we will touch on that.
Godington.
I think Axel Broom might have
That is,
coined
shout
that.
out to Axel.
Shout out to Axel. He coined that. And then a quick update on the football recruiting trail / transfer portal market, because we are living in perpetual free agency. As I predicted early on in the early times of TDR, and everybody was talking about the new transfer market being great and NIL being great for freedom of student athletes. I said that may be true, but just understand we are going to be living in perpetual free agency with no rules.
Yep.
Just make sure you understand that. Now, mainstream media is finally taking an understanding that this is not necessarily the best thing for college sports.
It's great for Vanderbilt football right now, though.
I'll take it.
So
It's going to benefit, in a way, these kind of lower tier Power 4 programs.
Yeah.
That's going to take some adjustment saying Power 4 because it's not Power 5 anymore.
5.
But the lower tier Power 4 programs may be the ones that benefit the most from this, as guys see where they stand at the beginning of spring practice and are able to transfer more freely. We will hit on some guys that have transferred in and transferred out. But like I mentioned, it is after 10 p.m. We waited until the end of the Vanderbilt-Tennessee Tech game, so this might be a brief episode on episode 269. #nice. But before we get into all that and much more, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Door Report. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. And while you're at it, give our podcast 5 stars and a review on iTunes. And don't forget to comment on that YouTube channel. It is now time for segment 1.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody.
Welcome back into segment 1 of episode 269.
Nice.
We're going to keep saying that until it's annoying. So get ready. But episode 269. Nice. We will be hitting on in segment 1 to start off before the TDR cocktail break. We're going to talk some Vandy baseball. Fresh on our minds, Vanderbilt just won in the 11th inning, 8-7 over the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. My sweet, sweet boys out in Cookeville, Tennessee, out east, could not get the job done. Actually pissed down their leg, to be honest. Had Vanderbilt in a tough spot. Vanderbilt fought back and managed to not absolutely destroy what is left of their RPI.
Yeah.
You hit on that really well, that this is a game that, because I was rooting for Tech in the bottom of my heart, kind of like how you are with Lipscomb, maybe Austin Peay as well. There's something about
Austin Peay scored like 35 runs tonight against Alabama A&M.
See, I don't really pay attention that much to Tech outside. I'll pay attention to them because they're in FCS football. I'll see how they're doing. I'll pay attention to them in basketball if they're good. I've not been paying attention to baseball, but it was something about seeing that TTU out there
That made you go back in time.
It rewinded me about 5 years, and I was sitting back in Cookeville. I was thinking about it's Tuesday night right now. I was thinking about sitting down at Sweet Sweet Spanky's, drinking a $1 Miller Lite, and boy, oh boy, the memories that brought back.
See, for me at Austin Peay, that was the pee pad, to where you can the pee pad.
It's a great name.
Where you can get like a Bud Light pitcher for like $2.
Dude, are we not discussing also the pee pad and then Spanky's?
Great college bar names.
You're going to get spanked?
Yes.
Dude.
There's also another good one in Clarksville called the Electric Cowboy. That was a good one. But a lot of people got stabbed there.
Oh.
So I didn't like to frequent that place. Actually, a couple people have died there from like stabbings.
Yeah, we used to have Rodeo Bob's, and then right when I went onto campus, there's another, and then in that same location in a Goodwill parking lot, it became Club Lava, and now it's called Revolver. So that was another place in Cookeville as well. But that's a little off topic. Vanderbilt baseball over the week. Oh, before I hit on Vanderbilt baseball, I got to hit on a championship. Because that's what we win over here.
We got a
TDR.
champion in the house.
Last night, the boys, the Nashville Stars, closed out our second straight championship. 3 out of the last 4 seasons. We're victorious 17-13 over some scrubs, some dicks. By the end, I was ashamed at how much I wanted to win that game by the end, as Phoebe joins us here on camera. But the boys came out victorious. I posted it on Twitter. Tim Corbin, 4 years of eligibility left. I'm just throwing it out there.
Tim, it seems like you need some power right now, so hit those boys up.
Yeah, the power's not going to be from me. Maybe a little help on the mound. the ace star pitcher.
Yeah, there you
Phoebe,
go.
you're distracting me already.
Come on, Phoebe.
Also, I meant to mention it in the intro. You walked in the other night and you took a video, but a bird invaded TDR headquarters.
Yeah, we had a bird infested for the second time.
Somebody quote tweeted the video that you put out on our TDR Twitter and said, an absolute failure in security from Phoebe.
Phoebe didn't do a great job. In her defense, it was her first time, at least since I've had her.
Second time, actually.
Second time interacting with a bird. The first time I was not home for it, and it was just you and Phoebe, and you said she just didn't care that there was a bird. The second time she did care, and she spotted him and tried to take him out, but was real slow to it. It actually made the situation a lot worse because then I think it rattled the bird even more than it was already rattled.
At least we found the source of the problem.
Yes.
You still had, we still had, I don't want to blame you. We still had the same Christmas wreath on the door.
It's April. We had a Christmas wreath.
To be fair, it doesn't look incredibly like a Christmas wreath. It just looks kind of like decor.
Yeah.
But there was a bird's nest in the wreath.
And that's how I found out. Will goes, hey, I think he's nesting in the wreath. We should probably take that down. I said, great idea. I take the wreath, I bring it inside.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like looking at the wreath and I'm like, something looks odd here. There was indeed a bird's nest.
Are you going to reveal the story and PETA's going to get on our ass?
Yeah. There were little birds in the nest. Little alive birds. And then a couple of unhatched eggs. And so I'm just looking at this nest. And I don't know what to do. So I just took the wreath, went outside, turned it upside down, and all I hear is splat. And I was like, sorry guys, but it was either this or you were probably going to get hit by a car or eaten by a snake. So this seems like the ethical way to go about it.
But we did not know what to do.
Yeah.
Because one time is just one time. But
Yeah.
this was the second time this bird
So
has flown
something
into our
had to have
apartment.
been done.
I don't know what else you do besides take out the birds. I mean, PETA, I'm sorry.
I think they were robins because they were like little blue eggs. One of them was unhatched, but there were
Robins.
robins. Yeah, because I think robins lay the blue eggs.
I don't know. I didn't look that detailed.
I saw blue eggs. I go, I think this is a robin. I could be wrong, though. It could just have been a regular old bird.
Well, they're dead now, so it doesn't
They're
really matter.
right outside there.
They're splatted.
The
now.
ants have probably consumed them already. Or
Dark.
the hornets.
What a dark start to TDR.
Yeah. So a lot of bloodshed at TDR headquarters so far.
Failure on Phoebe talks a big game.
She
constantly making noises at the birds.
She
outside
loves
the
to
window.
sit outside, sit on the windowsill and just meow, meow,
This
meow,
was your
meow.
one shining moment, Phoebe, and you blew it.
And she didn't capitalize.
The moment was too big. The lights were too bright.
Yeah.
But now time to get to actual Vanderbilt sports. Now that we've ranted about the bird and my softball championship, got to shout out the boys again. Over the weekend, good start to the series. Great start to the series against Mississippi State over the weekend. Game 1, Vanderbilt won 4-0. Complete game shutout from Bryce Cunningham. Incredible pitching performance. I actually watched game 1. Incredible pitching performance.
Yeah. He's been nothing but sensational.
Game 2, 7-4 loss. And then the pivotal game 3.
A rubber match.
Vanderbilt started out down 6 runs, fought their way back, up 7-6 in the 9th inning, 2 outs, 1 man on for Mississippi State on second base. Hunter Hines steps up to the plate. The one guy that almost single-handedly beat Vanderbilt in game 2. And Vanderbilt, instead of walking him onto the open base, decides to pitch to him, hits a 2-run jack. Vanderbilt's now down 8-7 and end up losing the game 8-7. Also in game 3, Jaden Davis was hit in the face by a pitch.
Yeah.
He will need surgery on his orbital bone, I believe.
Yeah.
And they have not confirmed if he's even going to be able to return this season.
He won't. That's a season-ending injury. If that happened game 1, he's out for the season.
So Vanderbilt's best batter in SEC play out for the season.
Yep.
The curse continues on Vanderbilt athletics.
It's been rough for Vandy baseball. And we say that they're like what 31 to 13
32 and 13
32
after
and
that
13. And it's been a tough baseball season to watch.
Sitting at number 17 in the country going into that Tennessee Tech game, 11-10 in conference, has not been quite up to the standards of Vanderbilt baseball so far. We will hit on the details a little bit on that series, but Trevor, a lot of concerns to be had. What is your big takeaway moving forward? It's probably the same stuff we've been talking about, to be honest.
I'm just going to give a hot take, and we'll get right into it. I'm starting to worry that Tim Corbin's losing it. I'll just say it right now. I think Tim Corbin's losing his fastball. I think if he does not adapt in NIL, Vanderbilt baseball is not going to the dungeon, but Vanderbilt baseball is going to be stuck in this Sisyphusian cycle to where they're probably going to be sitting number 15 in the nation to number 25. And it's just going to be like that unless he adapts.
Yeah, it's hard to say because the expectations of Vanderbilt baseball are so different than Vanderbilt basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The expectations of Vanderbilt basketball are so different than Vanderbilt football. So it's so weird because you have 3 tiers of expectations.
Yeah.
You have the expectations of Vanderbilt football are just occasionally make a bowl game.
Yeah.
Occasionally go 6-6. If you go 5-7, fans are going to be decently happy.
Absolutely.
Basketball, make the NCAA tournament pretty consistently, be a middle of the pack to upper middle of the pack team in the SEC. And then Vanderbilt baseball is Omaha/national championship or bust. So it's very different expectations, but Tim Corbin's loyalties and, like you said, his fastball may be deteriorating slightly.
Yeah.
The one I like to point out, and I tweeted it out right before he ended up hosing a guy that was trying to steal second and hitting an RBI single, so you're welcome, but his loyalty to Jack Bolger.
Insane.
I don't understand it. He pinch hit Jack Bolger with 2 outs in the 9th.
Yep.
Ended the game.
Yep.
Jack Bolger, since the hamstring injury, is a shell of himself.
Yeah, and he wasn't that great before the hamstring injury. Let's just call it a spade.
Jack Bolger, I pulled up the stats before the podcast, hitting 269 on the year. This is not including this Tennessee Tech game, but hitting 269 on the year. And in SEC play, Jack Bolger's hitting 150.
Yep.
To pinch hit him in that situation is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And it's not like you can maybe let him ride the bench, because if there is a situation like that to where there's a left-handed pitcher up, this guy's a righty and cannot hit lefties, and he sure as hell can't hit righties. And so now what are you going to do? Oh, so he can't hit lefties. He sure as hell can't hit righties as a righty. What are you going to do? Oh, defense. He sucks at defense. He's not a good catcher, and he's a liability in left field. Why does this guy keep getting time?
I wish I had some explanation to that.
I mean, and like you said, even his batting average, dude, his OBP is terrible. D1 baseball has his OBP at 322, his slugging at 404, OPS altogether 726. Games played 19, plate appearances 59, at bats 52, 14 hits.
He's a senior, a liked guy on the roster. I'm not denying that. Phoebe is biting me.
He's got 1 double. He has 1 double.
She's fine. She's just ow. Fuck.
Phoebe, we might need to
Sorry,
push her
I
off.
dropped an F-bomb. I don't understand it. Aria Gerson, she gets criticism from this podcast during basketball and football season plenty. Her baseball coverage is
unparalleled.
outstanding.
I totally agree.
Aria has me restricted on being able to view her tweets. I don't know how I'm restricted, but I can't see any of her threads. But some of the stats she was putting out were fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reference some of those. All shout outs on these go to Aria. But she did put out one stat in particular that I really liked. This bullpen, we discussed some concerns that we had with this bullpen, that the starters were pretty solid with solid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The bullpen's a little shaky. She put out a stat that was Vanderbilt is 13-1 this season when starters go at least 6 innings.
Mm-hmm.
They are 18-12 when they do not.
Ooh.
I know that's kind of a little bit of a given because if a starter goes more than 6 innings, that means he's having a pretty good outing.
Yeah.
More than likely, the opponent is not putting up a ton of runs. But the bullpen is just not there. The power is not there. What we've been saying all season. I believe Vanderbilt's only has 2 teams in the entire SEC. They're above in home run numbers.
Yeah.
Going into that Tennessee Tech game, I think they had 49 home runs on the season. I equate power to 3-point shooting in basketball. I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but I like to equate it to something that I am, which is a basketball guy. And right now, Vanderbilt just does not have power.
No.
And that continues to bite them in the ass.
Yeah. And shout out to Aria once again, brought up a good point. Braden Holcomb has the best power on this team, but his batting average is not that great. And it's because he's not a small ball hitter. He's not a gapper. He's not a hard line drive guy. He hits bombs. And she brought up a really good point. Even when he pops out, they're warning track power. And so I get it. His BA is not great. Simply for the slugging potential, you have to play him, because right now the inability to hit the long ball and drive in extra runs is really biting Vanderbilt in the butt. And like you said, and you brought this up a couple pods ago, I totally agree. If Vanderbilt is so lucky to somehow make it to Omaha, and that would be a stretch, because I'll say it right here, this team ain't hosting. This team's not hosting a regional. They're not. If they somehow get to Omaha, you're going to need somebody that can send that ball deep. It might not be a home run every time, but you got to have somebody that can put that ball in the warning track, can stretch the field and allow guys who are on base, even if it's a pop out, advance. That's huge. Base running is pivotal in Omaha. But I even hate talking about Omaha right now, because I don't think this team makes it out of a regional.
There's a lot of holes on this roster, and we mentioned it last episode. We mentioned it the episode before that. The schedule does not ease up. The schedule intensifies this season. We also have talked about the home record versus the away record. Right now, Vanderbilt's 25-6 at home, 3-7 on the road. This upcoming weekend on the road against number 19 Georgia, a huge series.
Yeah.
This weekend, they have to win that series this weekend.
Absolutely.
Have to.
Yes.
Must win. Because they have at number 19 Georgia 3-game series, then they play at home against Louisville in the midweek game.
And that'll be a tough game. Louisville's not great this season, but that'll be a really tough game.
But that's still a tougher game than Tennessee Tech or a normal midweek
I
game.
totally agree. Even if we blew Tennessee
Blue
Tech,
Texas, pause.
pause. Even if we blew Tennessee Tech out of the water, that Louisville game still really scares me.
But the Louisville game, Sonny Gray bobblehead giveaway. Didn't realize that until just now.
Shout out to Sonny Gray, one of my favorite Vandy boys of all time.
And then, after the Louisville midweek game, at home series against number 3 Tennessee.
Yep.
Then, no midweek game, but then on the road against number 8 Kentucky. Brutal next 3 weekends.
Is that Kentucky, since there's no midweek game, is that Kentucky series start on a Thursday?
Yes.
Tough turnaround. Because that Tennessee series goes till Sunday.
Yep.
That'll be a tough turnaround.
Brutal turnaround. Anything else you want to add on to baseball? Because I feel like we're just repeating ourselves. No power, not a great bullpen, a lot of holes on this roster, but it's tough to point out the holes on a team that's 32-13. It's not where you want to be with a brutal schedule upcoming. What would you say the chances are of this team actually being a host for a regional with the upcoming schedule, if you had to put percentages on it?
5%.
5%.
They're not. And I am known as the Vandy homer and being very unrealistic. This team, and I hope I'm wrong, this team is not taking a series from Georgia, Tennessee, or Kentucky. I think they lose all 3 of those series. I really do. I think they lose every single series.
I hate to agree with you, but I do. They've shown nothing. They've shown nothing that they can win a series on the road against a quality opponent.
They might not even be like a 2 seed in the regional. Like, if they're not going to host, but whenever they go to regional, they might be a 3 seed.
They'll be a 2 seed.
There's a possibility they are a 3 seed.
There is a possibility, but it's very unlikely. Stop biting the cord, Phoebe.
She says, I want to eat Jerry Stackhouse's head.
But there will be more baseball to talk about. The other thing I want to point out on the baseball front, we have a tailgate, a nice little practice run for Lot 2 during football season. We will be having a tailgate on May 11th, the second game of the Tennessee series, starting at 8 a.m. on top of the 25th Avenue garage. So I just need to repeat that. Don't show up at Lot 2, the 25th Ave garage, top floor. We're going to be tailgating out there. And also, I wanted to say this after the TDR cocktail break, but we'll go ahead and say it. Mark Byington responded to Miller McKee's tweet tagging him, saying, "Come out to the tailgate." I want to pull up his exact tweet so I don't misquote it here. But Mark Byington responded something Jerry Stackhouse would simply never do.
No, Jerry Stackhouse wouldn't even bat an eye at that.
Miller McKee helps us out with tailgates. Absolute dog. Tweeted out, "Hey, at Jason Edwards, at VU Coach B, Coach Byington, you down to meet some fans next Saturday on the parking lot roof?" And Mark Byington said, "What time? If I am in town, I will be there."
That's our coach. That's my coach.
That's my coach right there.
Even if he is out of town, is like, "Guys, I'm so sorry I can't make it." The fact that he said, "If I'm in town, I will be there," is enough for me. It's enough for me.
The willingness to engage with fans is so different than the last regime.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
And we'll extend the invite. Like you said, Jason Edwards, McLaughlin,
Barton,
Clark, Van Allen, Lubin, anybody, Karras, JQ, anybody that wants to show up, you are more than welcome. If you are associated with Vanderbilt Athletics in any way, you are welcome to the 25th Ave Garage. Come get rowdy with the boys. And we said this on Twitter. Coach B, I don't know if you're a drinker. Everybody's got to eat, and everybody's going to eat. Coach B, come to the tailgate. Free booze, free water. Jason Edwards, no booze for you, only Gatorade and water. We got to keep you hydrated. And free food. Come as you are.
Diet Cokes.
Free Diet Cokes. Whatever you want, Coach, we got it. In fact, no, I'm not going to say it because this might make him not want to come.
I don't know what you're about to say.
I was going to say we might just have to do an impromptu TDR interview with Mark Byington.
It's not required, Coach.
Not required.
Not
no.
required,
if you
Coach.
come and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, guys, I don't want to do that," totally respect it. You can still have our beer and drink our food.
Eat
our food. Eat our
Drink
food.
our food.
It's late, guys. I'm so sorry.
It is 10:30 p.m. right now. The brain cells are rapidly deteriorating. Phoebe is distracting us as best she can.
Phoebe needs a burden here right now. Maybe
But
she'd calm down.
One big baseball question. I don't think it's just the transfer portal. There are other aspects to this. Aria also tweeted out, keep shouting out Aria. Hope she unrestricts me from her Twitter. But she did point out that the 2022 class was hit extremely heavily by the MLB draft. Is the Tim Corbin era of dominance officially over in your mind? Is there any way that he bounces back from this?
There is a way that he bounces back, and it's by embracing NIL. She's totally right. This class got hit hard. Max Clark would have been he was never coming to Vanderbilt. Like, let's just get that out of our heads. He was never coming to Vanderbilt. He was always going to get drafted. The way to bounce back, and it's very possible, is if Tim Corbin embraces NIL, but mainly embraces the transfer portal. If Tim Corbin embraces the transfer portal, I think Vanderbilt can go right back to the dominance that they've had for the past decade. I truly believe that. Now, is Tim Corbin going to be stubborn enough to say no? I think probably, because Tim Corbin is a very stubborn man. Hasn't gotten rid of Baxter, hasn't embraced the portal, thinks that he can do it his way, and he has done it his way since he's come on to Vanderbilt's campus and has done an amazing job at turning around this baseball program. But times have changed, and we are in unprecedented waters. And in order for him to win like he's used to, he has to embrace the portal. If Vanderbilt does not embrace the portal, then I really do think you kind of go to this era of 15 to 25 every year, never really being a threat to Omaha.
I agree with everything you said. I just like to throw in the other side of this, which is Vanderbilt fans, keep in mind, it was not that long ago that Vanderbilt was in the national championship playing against Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
It was just last season that Vanderbilt won the SEC tournament and were SEC champions. That was just last season. So one down season does not mean, and down is a strong term because they are 32-13, but down for Vanderbilt standards is not a complete throw in the towel. His whole strategy's done. I don't know. We're kind of at an in-between spot. I don't want to be a sunshine pumper, but at the same time, it's not the worst thing in the world to be a perennially top 20 baseball team.
It just sucks
It does
whenever you're
suck.
so used to Omaha. And like that team that lost in 21, none of those guys are here now. And I don't think you get back to that level of dominance in baseball if you don't embrace the portal. I just even if Vanderbilt keeps getting these young kids that have amazing perfect game ratings, I don't know how you compete, because the era of being able to dominate with young talent like that, I think is over. I think that's fair to say. That's dead and gone. Those kids can be future Hall of Famers, but whenever they're going up against a team that's junior seniors that have been around the block a couple times that are also good baseball players themselves, that's tough to beat.
It is. I always just like to take the pause and say Vanderbilt fans like to make fun of Georgia football fans, Alabama football fans, LSU football fans, is saying you're out of your mind with these expectations. Vanderbilt did just win a national championship 4 seasons ago. They won the SEC tournament championship last season. And Vanderbilt fans are ready to get rid of the Tim Corbin era. That's crazy to me. There are some extremes that I've seen.
I think if you want
takes like
Tim,
that.
if you want Tim fired, I think that's
He's not
insane. But I think it's fair to say I think he's losing his fastball.
He could. How old is Tim Corbin?
He's almost 70, I think.
I mean,
He's getting
I'm
up
looking
there.
that up.
He's at least in his mid 60s. I want to say he's like 66, 67.
62.
I was pretty off.
But still getting up there.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for baseball.
Well, and two, doesn't it worry you? Do you remember? And this is the last thing I'll say about baseball. I don't doubt that Tim Corbin loves the game. I think, and I said this last pod, and I'll bring up a quote from last year. I think this NIL transfer portal era could push him out the way it did Nick Saban and Jay Wright. Because do you remember that quote last year to where The Athletic, I believe it was Joe Rexrode, interviewed Maggie Corbin, and she said something along the lines of, I don't know how much longer we'll be doing this. And that made me nervous.
There is something, it was inevitable with the rule changes, with the transfer portal, inevitable with the changes to NIL that were the biggest changes, obviously, we've ever seen. There is a little bit of that magic that is gone in college athletics with bringing in guys. You watch them develop and grow over 3 or 4 years, and then you see what finished product they become. That's almost dead now.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of that magic gone. And as a coach, I can see why that would frustrate you. And make
totally
you lose
understand
the love for it.
I absolutely agree. I totally understand.
Because you're more putting together a professional roster than you are building young men into grown men. There's something that you've lost there. Is it the worst thing? Was it inevitable? I think it was inevitable, but there is something you've lost there, and I can see why coaches from the era prior to NIL that had so much success in building positive programs.
Yeah.
I don't mean just success in winning. I mean success in building professionals and building a respectable and incredible environment within a program that you've lost a little bit.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And I don't know if it's even something that Tim Corbin can adapt to. Is kind of more what I'm getting at. What he is so good at is developing this buy-in from the players, earning your Vanderbilt gear. It's harder to get that buy-in when you're bringing in seniors and graduates.
That's a really good point.
Because they've been in 1, 2, 3 programs prior to Vanderbilt. It's just not the same.
That's a great point. And that's always been Tim Corbin's thing is I want to take young men and I want to develop them, not just into good baseball players, but I want to develop them into good people. You've seen that over his entire career. He talked about how David Price was a piece of work whenever he got to Vanderbilt and was really hard to deal with. And he was very proud of the strides that David Price made in his personal life to become a good human. You've seen that all over the place. You saw that with Tyler Brown, who he gave a second chance to. You saw that with Javier Vaz, who Tim Corbin told him, hey, you're not ready to play SEC baseball, stay in JUCO, and then brought him back. So that's a great point. And I totally agree. If you're Tim Corbin, I get it. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't really like it that much either. It's
tough. It's tough for fans. It's tough for coaches. The new era with no regulation is going. We've talked about this for like 50 episodes.
Mhm.
There's going to be a breaking point with
Yeah.
all this NIL stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's going to be that NIL at a big school doesn't have the funds that they promised to players. I don't know if it's going to be players refusing to play and the NIL still having to honor the contracts that they've signed. Something is going to break due to lack of regulation.
Mhm.
And the NCAA has butchered this entire process.
Yeah.
They've destroyed it.
Yeah.
So it was inevitable. It was always going to happen, but there is some magic that is gone from college sports all around. And I think it's actually going to benefit Vanderbilt basketball and Vanderbilt football.
I agree.
So it's not all negative for Vanderbilt, but there is some magic that is lost. Anything else you want to add on to baseball here before we go to the TDR cocktail break?
I'm worried.
We're worried. Hosting is not looking good, but go ahead and grab yourself a cold one because we have a little bit of basketball and a little bit of football to talk about before we close out a quick episode 269. So grab yourself a cold one and we will be right back. Welcome back from the TDR cocktail break. Trevor, Phoebe has been a menace so far on this episode. She's sitting on the corner of the table outside of the frame of the camera. She's been distracting two brains that are already pretty fried right now on a late night. It's 10:45 p.m. right now. Brain not going at 100%.
No.
I'm not going to lie.
Probably about 65%.
Just poured up a beverage. We'll see if that makes any of my thoughts better or worse. We will see. But first, let's go to basketball. Not a ton of news. Almost no news.
Yeah.
Want to repeat? Come to the 25th Avenue Garage, top level. We will be out there starting at 8 a.m. We're going to have the full setup going, grill, TV, tents. Going to be a good time.
Oh, going to be electric.
Come out. You can see the game from the top of the garage if you have tickets. Do you have tickets?
I don't know. I'm watching from the garage.
I'll be watching from the garage as well. So
I tried to get tickets, but I also was like, dude, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot. Also, to be completely honest, and I think I hate Orange. I hate the Vols as much as anybody. To be honest, right now, Tennessee baseball is just better than Vanderbilt baseball.
Yeah.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but that team is better. Even though your Lipscomb Bison beat them in the midweek game.
Horns up, baby.
So anything can happen in baseball, but Mark Byington potentially in attendance. So come out, meet the new coach. I guess we'll get more information whether or not he's able to make it as we inch closer. How are you feeling about that series? And then we'll actually get to basketball.
I think we're going to get swept.
I think Vanderbilt has a good chance to get swept, but this team's a different team at home.
And I'm afraid that it's going to be like 3 blowouts like we've seen. Like, I'm pretty nervous.
I really, really hope not. Last episode, if you want to recap on what Vanderbilt has done in the transfer portal so far in the Mark Byington era, go and listen to episode 268. We broke down all the guys that they brought in. The only news on the basketball front is transfer guard Malik Presley has committed to Texas.
What the hell?
There's got to be something to that, whether he's getting no NIL money or something. That I did not expect that. Shout out to Malik Presley.
Dude, yeah.
The Vanderbilt to Texas pipeline must be a thing. Dylan DeSue, now Malik Presley, a little different situation, but
hey, dude, shout out to you for failing upwards. Damn. I mean, there's no other way to put it, dude.
That's about how I would put it. But let's move on to football. Is there anything else you want to talk about with basketball?
Too many Glockies. I love
Devin McLaughlin. Talked about him last episode. I am excited for the upcoming basketball season. I think a lot of Vanderbilt fans are shocked themselves that they're excited about the upcoming basketball season. So, Mark Byington, if you're at that tailgate, you will be treated like a king.
Dude, you know what we might have to talk about during summer? Because isn't during the summer whenever Vanderbilt basketball travels abroad to play like professional European teams?
Maybe. Not sure.
Oh, dude,
I
if
think
they
so.
did, that would be electric.
But we've been talking about, before we talk about the small movements on the roster, in football. We're trying to think of things because we want to keep doing TDR every week.
Yeah.
We like the consistency. We like talking about Vanderbilt. We like getting interactions with everybody. It's already hard enough with just baseball season going on.
Yeah.
To do it weekly. Once we hit the dead time of summer,
it's going to be tough.
What are we going to talk about?
And two, we've talked about this off pod. During the summer, you can maybe find a couple storylines because you have reports of what's going on at practice. Vanderbilt has football practice under lock and key.
Yep.
And as you inch closer to actual football season, I think it's going to be even tougher. In fact, this is just a little hunch. I would be shocked if during the summer and fall camp, if they even have players, if they even let players interview after practice. I'm wondering if it's just going to be 4-minute interviews with the coaches. I would be shocked if they let players interview because they're locking that up like Fort Knox, dude.
There's going to be a lot of random speculation, a lot of bullshit episodes that should be entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a little less Vandy-centric.
We might be in our comedy pod era.
Yeah, we might be doing episodes that are like top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah.
Top 10 TV shows of all time is like the meat of the episode with a little Vanderbilt sprinkled in.
That might be the time to where we should. I know we're not a big fan of interviews unless you're Blake Fromang.
Ooh.
That might be the time to maybe reach out to some Vandy legends and have them on and just be like, hey, just tell us some stories. You know what I mean?
That might be the time. And we're also moving. Well, this will be in July. But me and Trevor, TDR headquarters is going to be relocating to an area that possibly we will have an extra bedroom that can actually be used as a studio.
That would be nice.
And that would be an incredible time to have in-person interviews.
Oh.
Could you imagine
I
having
didn't
actual
even think about
in-person
that
interviews?
in the office.
That would be so much better. So
if you were in the Nashville area and you were looking to rent a 3-bedroom home, 3-bed, 2-bath, 3-bed, 3-bath, and it doesn't break the bank, please contact us.
Any realtors out there? I know we have some realtors listening
Yes,
right now.
if you
no
can
doubt.
find that in our price range, please, I'm being so for real, DM us.
Or if you're looking to be if you need roommates, we wouldn't be opposed to having a third roommate out there as long as you're not a weirdo.
If you are a Vandy fan that loves the Doors and you're looking for 2 roommates, lower that rent even more, we're looking.
Because it's pretty shocking how much of a better house you can get with 3 people in our price range versus 2. So anyone out there, this is a real long shot, but this is also how we became roommates, Trevor.
This is literally
Just
how we became
completely
roommates. Just random chance.
But there has been some movement in the transfer portal for football. Ethan Crisp, our sweet, sweet boy,
Nothing but love for my crispy boy.
has transferred to Liberty. Also,
A fake school.
A fake school.
I love you, Ethan, and shout out to your dad, a sweet man. Liberty University is a fake school.
You can minor in creationism at Liberty. Also, there's a documentary on Hulu about the scandals of Liberty, founded in 1971, I believe, with a 99.3% acceptance rate and a president's wife who was fucking the pool boy.
That is true.
While simultaneously, the university was covering up sex and rape scandals.
Yeah.
Wild.
Insane.
The more I read into it today, the more I was like, how did I miss all of this?
I was reading that, and I thought if I had a child, especially if I had a girl and she was looking at colleges, I would say, you are not going to Liberty.
Can't even jerk off on campus without getting kicked off. BYU-esque. But the reason we are discussing Liberty is we angered the Liberty fan base. Vanderbilt angered the Liberty fan base, specifically because of Chase Mitchell. Their starting left tackle last season, started every single game last year, went on his official visit to Vanderbilt less than 24 hours after entering the transfer portal, looking like he's going to be a key piece to that Vanderbilt offensive line.
Wants to reunite with his former offensive line coach, Chris Klanakis.
Tampering, whatever you want to call it.
I love tampering when Vandy's doing it.
Dude. I don't care. Welcome to the big boy show. This is how things are done, pal.
To quote Will Byrum, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
And there was no cheating.
There was no cheating.
This is all above
cheating.
board. No cheating. All above board. But he was on campus today, I believe. So hopefully look for a commit happening soon. There also have been some official commits since we last recorded. Tight end Emmanuel Adibi Adebi from Cornell. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
Smart man if he went to Cornell.
6'5", 260 pounds.
That's a big boy.
His only stats I could find were from last season, like 6 catches all last season. Clearly a blocking tight end, but good for the depth at that tight end position when you already have Cam Johnson and Cole Spence.
Yep.
So just more depth, basically an additional offensive lineman out there.
I love it.
Which, if anything we've learned as Vanderbilt fans, tight ends in the blocking scheme are huge.
Yep.
Learned that last season after the departure of Gavin Cholenwald, friend of the pod, and Ben Bresnahan, also friend of the pod. So tight ends, blocking tight ends, major key, great commit there.
Oh, fun story about Gavin. He's a trainer at the gym my girlfriend goes to, and so we were talking about it, and I was looking at their. Well, no, she told me, she goes, yeah. So we have a trainer that used to play football for Vanderbilt apparently, and I was like looking at it, and I go, Gavin, and she's like, yeah, Gavin, and I go, no freaking way. So she went into a class that he was leading, and she goes up to him, she goes, hey, so I heard you know my boyfriend, and he goes, who's your boyfriend? She goes, Trevor Hulan, and he goes, oh, I love that guy. He goes, you need to get his ass in here for a class. And so now Gavin Schoenwald is continuously DMing me, telling me to come to his gym class, to where I know I've been before. They do like burpees and that stuff sucks. And the audacity of this man, I go, Gavin, you're going to make me do burpees, and I don't want to do burpees. He goes, dude, don't worry, man. Burpees kill me too. Gavin, don't take pity on me. You play D1 SEC football. Burpees don't hurt you like they hurt me. Don't play me like that.
Also, Gavin, we saw you and Ben Bresnahan at the practice we attended. You guys still look in pretty good shape. All right, pal.
He's like 6'4", like 250 of muscle.
Those are two dudes that are a great example of, like, you do not realize how big SEC football players are until you stand next to them.
Yep.
Because me and Trevor are not small guys.
No.
I'm like 6 foot 185. Trevor is
I'm like
6
6
foot
foot.
undisclosed weight.
I'm pushing 270.
And those guys make us look puny.
Yes.
It is very rare that
They
I
mocked
look
us.
puny in pictures, and they make us look pitiful.
I just remember when I shook Ben's hand for the first time, I was just like, and I think you even said this
Yep.
too. Like, I was just like, oh.
And
I just looked at my hand. I was like, oh.
And no offense, these are Vanderbilt tight ends.
Yeah.
And they're absolute freaks. So also, non-tight end related, Vanderbilt had a commit from another kicker/punter, Will Conley from Michigan. Don't know much about him,
We love special teamers on this pod.
but we are a special teams podcast. Special teams, special players, whatever the fuck.
Special plays.
Special plays.
What's up, brother? Tuesday.
Dude, that is starting to become a despised phrase from me.
Oh, really? I'll just go around and be like, what's up, brother?
I liked it until a couple weeks ago. I was in an Uber, and the Uber driver would not stop saying it. He's like a 45-year-old man and would not stop quoting
serious?
sketch. Yes, I wish I was kidding about this, but it ruined it for me. But don't know much about him. Doubt he's going to play. But Vanderbilt's turning into punter U. Cornerback Mark Davis Jr. from Southern Illinois. Also don't know a ton about him, but obviously Gumbo Gaskins was pushed out to have this guy come in and play. So obviously an upgrade there, experience at the cornerback position. You can never have too much depth and experience in the secondary. And in the secondary, I said the secondary specifically and not just corners, because Vanderbilt got a very interesting commitment.
This didn't get enough talk.
Probably the most interesting commit they have had in the transfer portal. Safety Maurice Hampton from Memphis. Did not even play at Memphis. Former LSU safety. And not just a former LSU safety, former 4-star, top 100 national player, I believe, in the class of 2019?
I believe so.
Top 100 national player, number 1 player in the state of Tennessee, was a dual sport athlete and played baseball in high school. I believe turned down a $1.5 million signing bonus, unless I'm mistaken.
Was it to the Dodgers?
I'm not sure which MLB team it was to. But a guy with a lot of raw talent that comes in, has not played in a while, but provides depth to that safety room.
Yeah.
The safeties, my God.
Dude, the safeties are going to be scary for Vanderbilt this year.
Just C.J. Taylor and Brandon Fontenette is one thing.
Yeah.
But you add in all the depth that they currently have, the DBs this year could be such a massive upgrade from what we have seen. So that's a guy, he could never see the field, could be an immediate impact player.
Yeah.
Truly no idea.
And Will, Will, you have said this on pod. This is not disclosing anything we saw at the practice. I agree with you. I think this defense could be really scary. I think this defense could really shock some people.
It does make me wonder if they're thinking about redshirting Dante Carter, despite all of his talent, bringing in Maurice Hampton, possibly because there's so much talent. Not any slight on the talent that Dante Carter brings in, and he's gonna be a playmaker as long as he stays in the program.
Yep.
But the amount of talent they already have, this just feels like a natural guy to say, just wait 1 year, and you will be the guy in 1 year.
Well, and he can still play 4 games.
Yep.
He can still play 4 games.
So that's all the transfer portal news. We had the NFL draft as well. No Vanderbilt players drafted.
Eagles won the draft as usual. Suck it, haters.
They win the draft because your GM picks based on the big board.
That's why we have the best GM in all of sports. Shout out to Howie Roseman. I love you.
Jalen Rager.
Those days are long gone. Those days are long gone. Those days are long gone.
Eagles are a great organization. I just think their draft picks may be overhyped.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree.
Agree to disagree. But Vanderbilt did have a couple guys signed to rosters. Jalen Mahoney signed with the 49ers. Matthew Hayball, legendary punter U, signed with the Saints.
He's going to be playing ball for a long time.
So that's all the news we have from the draft. Do you have any thoughts on the Titans draft?
I think J.C. Latham. It's J.C., right? Not C.J.?
Yep.
I was getting that mixed up. I think J.C. Latham was a great pick. I think especially once Joe Alt got picked. I knew the Chargers. I saw in a lot of mock drafts that the Chargers were sometimes taking him, sometimes not. Since Alt was gone, I really like that Latham pickup a lot.
The number one person, this is getting off Vanderbilt topics, but this is going to keep happening more and more. So get used to it as we enter the summer. J.C. Latham was a great pick with how the draft played out.
I agree.
Going into the draft, if you just blindly told Titans fans that they were picking J.C. Latham, not thrilled.
Yeah.
Just because the expectation was Joe Alt or Malik Neighbors. However, both of them were picked prior to the Titans pick number 7. J.C. Latham was a right tackle in college, played there primarily. But that's also a position in need. So even if he has to stay at right tackle, I like the J.C. Latham pick. He's not comparable to Chance Warmack. I think Titans just have PTSD from Chance Warmack and Isaiah West. That's not the name.
Isaiah Wilson.
Isaiah Wilson.
Chance Warmack is a name I have not heard in ages.
That was a bust of a draft pick from Alabama. And then Isaiah Wilson. That's just in the thoughts.
Who was
Titans fans' minds?
I'm blanking on his name. I believe y'all got him in the 3rd round. The linebacker out of North Carolina was like 2-time all
fourth
ACC.
Round.
Fourth
Cedric
round.
Gray.
So I love that guy.
The Titans didn't have a 3rd.
I think that's a sleeper pick. I really like that guy a lot.
I like that pick. The other pick the Titans fans had slight issue with is Tavondre Sweat. He showed up overweight. Has some issues off the field.
He was the one that had like a DUI, right?
Had a DUI like 3 weeks prior to the NFL draft. However, I think they are hoping that Big Jeffrey Simmons, who also had his own share of issues heading into the draft and has a big personality, is clearly the leader of that defensive line, is going to get Tavondre Sweat in place.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Sweat has ever had anybody in a locker room that is going to big dog him.
Yeah.
And I think Jeffrey Simmons is going to big dog him. So a little bit questionable in that 2nd round pick. Overall, if I had to give it a grade, I would give the Titans draft a B-. It just didn't play out great for the Titans. There's nothing you could really do about it, to be honest.
How do you feel about my guy Cooper DeJean?
Needs to wear number 42.
Whoa.
Potentially the first starting white cornerback since Jason Sehorn, which is crazy.
Insane.
But Cooper DeJean, lower leg injury, lower body injury.
He'll be fine.
This is another one that media loves. I'm not so sure it's actually that great of a pick, but
for the value.
For some reason, we never go back and actually evaluate these grades and see how they actually play out. We just grade them and then allow the experts to grade the drafts, and then we never criticize them.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be a summer episode. It's just criticizing people like Mel Kiper.
Yes.
And being like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That is true.
You're just throwing out hot takes and banking on people not really going back and revisiting them.
The Eagles have 2 white guys in their secondary now. And Reed Blankenship, Middle Tennessee State University product, and Cooper DeJean.
We'll see how that plays out.
You know what Eagles fans call Reed Blankenship? They call him Chalk Dawkins.
Chalk Dawkins. Jesus Christ.
Chalk Dawkins.
It's 11 p.m., Trevor. I'm tired, boss.
I'm sleepy.
I'm
I'm
tired.
gonna go into the office tomorrow.
I've got to edit that. Oh, you have to go in the office?
I haven't had to go into the. I've never had to go into the office since I started this job. I've been here almost 2 years. I could go into the office tomorrow.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm going to be up about an hour after this editing and getting it uploaded. So anything else you want to add on episode 269 before I close it out and enter into editing mode?
No, I'm gonna drink some water and go to bed.
I'm tired. Trevor's tired. Phoebe is also tired. For myself, Will Byrum, and my co-host, Trevor Hulan, this has been episode 269 of The Door Report, powered by 615 Collectibles.